I didn't find out my boyfriend was cheating through a dramatic lipstick stain on a collar or a breathless confession in the rain. It was something far more modern and far more pathetic. It was a Venmo notification. The phone buzzed against the nightstand at exactly 12:14 a.m. Ryan was asleep beside me, his breathing heavy and rhythmic, completely unbothered by the secret life he was hiding. I don't know why I looked over. Maybe it was intuition, maybe it was just insomnia. But the screen lit up the dark room for a split second, and I saw it. A payment sent to a user named Amber_XO with a caption that made my blood turn to ice. It was a pizza slice emoji followed by a winking face and the words, "For the best night." I froze. My heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. Ryan never used emojis with me. He never sent me playful little payments for late-night food. I lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, feeling the entire foundation of my life crumble into dust in less than 10 seconds. The silence in the room was deafening, broken only by the sound of the man who was betraying me, sleeping soundly 3 inches away. My first instinct was to scream. I wanted to shake him awake. I wanted to throw the phone at his head and demand an explanation. I wanted to tear the sheets off the bed and scream until my throat bled. But I didn't move a muscle. I lay perfectly still, forcing my breathing to match his, inhaling slowly, exhaling even slower. I stared at the phone screen until it went black again, leaving me in the crushing darkness. A cold, heavy stone settled in the pit of my stomach. If I woke him up now, what would happen? He would lie. He would gaslight me. He would tell me I was crazy. Or worse, he would admit it and tell me to get out. And that terrified me more than the cheating. I looked around the shadowy outline of our bedroom, the dresser we bought together, the closet full of my clothes, the life I had built here. I realized in that frozen moment that I wasn't just losing a boyfriend, I was losing my safety. So I locked my phone, turned over, and stared at the wall until the sun came up, with my back to a stranger. To understand why I stayed quiet, you have to understand who we were, or rather, who everyone thought we were. Ryan and I were the solid couple, the ones our friends looked at and said, at least they have it figured out. We had been living together for 3 years in a nice apartment downtown. We split the bills down the middle, shared a Netflix account, and went to his parents' house for Sunday dinner. It wasn't a passionate movie star romance anymore, but it was stable, it was comfortable, it was the kind of relationship people assume will eventually turn into a marriage and a mortgage. I trusted him implicitly. I thought we were a team building a future. I paid the utility bills when he was short, he covered the internet, we took turns buying groceries. It felt fair. It felt like a partnership. But lying there that morning, watching him get dressed for work and kiss me on the forehead like nothing had happened, I realized that solid ground was actually quicksand. He wasn't my partner. He was an actor playing a role, and I was just the audience he was fooling to keep his rent cheap and his laundry done. I didn't confront him that morning. I didn't confront him that night. Instead, I became a ghost in my own relationship. I watched him. Suddenly, the signs were everywhere, flashing like neon lights I had been too blind to see before. The late nights at the office became frequent. He would come home smelling of a soap we didn't own, or smelling like nothing at all because he had showered before returning. Weekend work emergencies popped up constantly. He would sit on the couch next to me, angling his phone away, texting with a small, private smile that vanished the second I looked at him. And somehow, my life got quieter. He stopped asking about my day. He stopped making plans for next month. He was physically present, occupying space on the sofa, eating the dinner I cooked, but his mind was somewhere else entirely, probably with Amber XO. It was agonizing to watch, like watching a car crash in slow motion, but I forced myself to keep my mouth shut. I needed to be sure, and more importantly, I needed to be ready. The reason I didn't pack a bag and storm out that first week was simple, brutal math. I sat down at the kitchen table one day while he was at work and opened my banking app. The numbers stared back at me, red and unforgiving. We lived in an expensive city. My name wasn't on the lease, it was on his. I had spent the last year paying off my student loans aggressively, leaving my savings account almost empty. If I confronted him immediately, if I blew up our life right now, I would be the one on the street. I would be broke, homeless, and emotionally wrecked, while he would just move Amber in to take my spot. The unfairness of it made me want to vomit. Why should I be the one to suffer twice? Why should I lose my home just because he couldn't keep his zipper up? I realized then that anger was a luxury I couldn't afford yet. Survival came first. So I made a choice that felt cold, calculating, and necessary. I would stay. I would swallow the bile rising in my throat. I would play the part of the clueless girlfriend, and I would build a life raft right under his nose. The emotional detachment started slowly. It had to, or he would suspect something. I stopped initiating affection. I stopped reaching for his hand when we walked down the street. I stopped snuggling up to him on the couch during movie nights. The bedroom went cold. I started going to bed earlier or later, claiming I had headaches or work to do, or that I was just so tired. I waited for him to complain. I waited for him to ask what was wrong, to notice that the woman he supposedly loved was pulling away. But he didn't. He didn't seem bothered at all. In fact, he seemed relieved. It gave him more time to text her. It gave him more freedom to drift away without feeling guilty. That hurt more than the cheating in some ways. It clarified everything. It proved that he wasn't just making a mistake. He had already checked out. He was just keeping me around for convenience. And that realization hardened my resolve. If I was just a convenience to him, then I would make sure this relationship became very, very convenient for my bank account. My financial awareness awakened like a sleeping beast. For years, I had been the generous one, the one who said, "Don't worry about it, I'll get this," when the dinner check came. The one who picked up his favorite craft beer just to be nice. I stopped all of it. Overnight. No more random takeout orders on my card because he was craving Thai. No more buying him new shirts because his were looking old. No more filling up his gas tank when I borrowed his car. I tracked every single dollar like it was oxygen. I opened a new high-yield savings account that he didn't know about, and I funneled every cent I saved into it. When we went out to eat, which was rare, I asked for separate checks. I told him I was budgeting for a trip. He didn't even question it. He was too distracted to care about my finances, which was perfect. I watched my balance grow. $10 here, $50 there. Every dollar I saved felt like a brick in the wall I was building between me and him, a wall that would eventually protect me when the bomb went off. I took the resource rebalancing into the household, too. I still bought groceries because I had to eat, but the contents of the fridge changed drastically. Suddenly, the snacks were only the ones I liked. The expensive protein bars he devoured after the gym? Gone. The specific brand of coffee he loved? Replaced by the generic version I didn't mind. The fridge was full of yogurt he hated and vegetables he wouldn't touch. "We're out of chips," he commented one night, digging through the pantry with a frown. "Oh, I forgot," I said breezily from the living room, not looking up from my book. "You can grab some on your way home tomorrow." He grumbled, but he didn't go out. The household stayed functional, just no longer generous. I wasn't starving him. I was just refusing to cater to him. I was weaning him off my labor and my money, bit by bit. It was a subtle reclamation of my resources, and it gave me a tiny thrill of control in a situation I felt helpless. The biggest move came in month 3. I owned a decent little car, a sedan I had paid off years ago. It was reliable, but it required insurance, maintenance, and parking fees in our building. Ryan had a car too, a nicer SUV that he rarely used because he took the train to work. I sold my car quietly. I listed it online, met the buyer a block away, and signed the title over without Ryan even knowing I was doing it. When I came home, I told him, "I'm thinking of selling my car to save money. Is it okay if I use yours when I need to shop, since you take the train?" He shrugged, barely looking up from his phone. Yeah, sure, whatever. He didn't care. He didn't realize that I had just liquidated a major asset. The check for $8,000 went straight into my secret account. Now, not only was I saving on insurance and gas, I was putting miles on his car instead of mine. It felt like a small tax I was charging him for his betrayal. Every time I drove his car to the grocery store, I smiled. The irony of the double life was almost funny. While he was sneaking around telling lies to cover up his affair, I was sneaking around telling lies to cover up my freedom. He would lie about being at a networking event while he was really at a bar with Amber. I would lie about being broke while I was really hoarding cash like a dragon. We were two liars living under one roof, sleeping in one bed, playing a game of chicken that only one of us knew was happening. I started looking at apartments online during my lunch breaks. I researched neighborhoods. I calculated moving costs. I built a financial escape plan right under his nose, while he thought I was just the same old, stupid, loyal girlfriend waiting for him to come home. Sometimes I almost wanted to laugh in his face. He thought he was the one getting away with something. He thought he was the clever one. But he had no idea that his safety net, me, was slowly unraveling itself, thread by thread. He was standing on a trapdoor, and I was just waiting for the right moment to pull the lever. Time passed. It was excruciating, but effective. Months went by. The leaves changed color. The weather got colder, and my bank account got healthier. He got more careless. He started leaving his phone face up, assuming I was too checked out to notice the notifications. He started coming home later and later with flimsier excuses. He thought he had broken me. He thought I was just apathetic. I got more prepared. I started moving my sentimental items out of the apartment slowly. A box of books here, a piece of jewelry there, taking them to my office or a friend's place. By the 7th month, I had saved nearly $20,000. Between the car sale, the aggressive budgeting, and a small bonus at work, I had enough for a deposit, first and last month's rent, new furniture, and a safety cushion. I was ready. I wasn't trapped anymore. I was just waiting for the trigger. It happened after New Year's. The lease renewal email came into our shared inbox. Ryan brought it up over dinner, casual and arrogant. "Hey, the lease is up in March. We should probably sign it this week. They're raising the rent a bit, but it's fine." I put my fork down. I wiped my mouth with a napkin. I looked him dead in the eye, my heart rate steady, my hands calm. This was the moment I had rehearsed in the shower for 200 days. "I'm not signing the lease," I said calmly. He stopped chewing. He looked at me, confused. "What?" "I'm not signing the lease," I repeated, my voice even and cool. "I'm leaving. I found a new place. I move out March 1st, but I can stay until then as a roommate if it helps with the bills." I didn't say we need to talk. I didn't say I know about Amber. I just stated facts. The relationship was over, the lease was ending, I was gone. His reaction was a masterclass in deflection. He choked on his water. He stared at me, eyes wide, face turning red. "You're what? You're leaving? Why?" "It's not working for me anymore," I said simply. "I'm not happy." He exploded. He stood up, pacing the kitchen, throwing his hands in the air. He said I blindsided him. He said I was cruel. He said I was throwing away 3 years of a great life without even trying to fix it. "You should have spoken up sooner," he shouted, pointing a finger at me. "If you were unhappy, you should have said something. You don't just dump this on someone." The audacity was breathtaking. Here was a man who had been cheating on me for nearly a year, lying to me every day, accusing me of betrayal, accusing me of not communicating. I stayed calm, unmoved. I didn't scream back. I didn't throw the Venmo screenshot in his face. I just watched him tantrum, knowing that his anger was really just panic. He was losing his stability, and he knew it. The next few days were tense. He went from angry to cold to bargaining. Finally, he realized I wasn't changing my mind. He demanded I leave earlier. He didn't want to live with his ex for 2 more months. "If you're done, then go," he snapped. "I want you out by February 1st. This was a power play. He thought it would hurt me. He thought I would scramble and beg to stay because I had nowhere to go. "Okay," I said. "I can do that. But if I leave a month early, you cover February's rent entirely, and I keep my half of the security deposit." He blinked. He hadn't expected that. He did the math in his head. He wanted me gone so he could move on, probably so he could move Amber in. "Fine," he spat. "Keep the deposit. Just get out." I agreed. No argument, no drama. I had already secured an apartment available immediately. He thought he was kicking me out. In reality, he was paying me to leave. I moved out on a Saturday. My friends helped me, efficient and silent. We cleared my stuff in 4 hours. The apartment looked empty, hollow, just like our relationship. Ryan wasn't there. He made a point of being out while I packed. I left my keys on the counter. I didn't leave a note. I didn't leave a goodbye letter. I just closed the door and walked away. 2 days later, a friend texted me, "You won't believe who just posted a photo in your old kitchen." It was Amber. She moved in almost immediately, February 3rd. The body wasn't even cold, and he had replaced me. That told me everything I needed to know. He hadn't been heartbroken by my departure. He had been inconvenienced by the timing. He just slotted her into the vacancy I left, like changing a battery. It stung, I won't lie, but mostly it validated every single cold, calculated choice I had made for the last 7 months. I didn't see him for 6 weeks. I was busy setting up my new place, buying furniture I actually liked, sleeping in a bed that felt like a sanctuary. I felt lighter. I looked better. Then I ran into them. It was at the farmer's market on a sunny Sunday morning. I was buying flowers, alone, happy. I turned around, and there they were, Ryan and Amber, walking arm in arm. He looked tired. She looked younger than me, eager. They froze when they saw me.
Ryan looked like he wanted to dive behind the artisanal cheese stand. He turned pale. He clearly hadn't expected to see me, and he definitely didn't want this confrontation. But I didn't run. I didn't hide. I adjusted my tote bag, put a bright, dazzling smile on my face, and walked right up to them.
Ryan. Hi, I said, my voice dripping with polite friendliness. It's been a while. He stammered, shifting uncomfortably. Hey. I turned my gaze to the girl. She looked awkward, unsure of who I was. Ryan hadn't introduced us. He was sweating. And you must be Amber, I said warmly, extending my hand. I'm Tessa, Ryan's ex-girlfriend. The color drained from Ryan's face. He froze. Amber's eyes went wide. She looked at me, then at him, then back at me. Ex-girlfriend? She repeated, confused. I thought Ryan said you were just his roommate, that you guys broke up a year ago. The lie hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. He had lied to her, too. He had told her I was just a roommate he was stuck with until the lease ended. He had erased our relationship to make himself look available. I saw the realization hit her. I saw the doubt creep into her eyes. I didn't need to do anything else. The grenade had been pulled, the pin dropped. I didn't yell. I didn't explain the timeline. I didn't tell her about the Venmo or the cheating. Well, it was nice to meet you, I said cheerfully. Ryan, take care. I walked away. I walked past the honey stand, past the baker, and I didn't look back. Behind me, I heard the silence between them, loud and heavy. I heard her voice, sharp and questioning. Roommate? You lived together for 3 years? I let the truth do the damage. I didn't need to be the crazy ex. I didn't need to slash his car or key his car. I just had to exist, happy and honest, and let his own web of lies strangle him. It was the most satisfying walk of my life.
My phone buzzed an hour later. It was a text from Ryan. A wall of text. What the hell was that? You did that on purpose. You're manipulative. You tried to ruin things for me. You should have confronted me sooner if you knew. You led me on for months, letting me think we were fine while you planned this. You're psycho. I read it, sitting on my new balcony, drinking tea. He was accusing me of manipulation. He was angry that I hadn't played by his rules, that I hadn't given him the chance to spin the story. He was angry that I had beaten him at his game. I typed back one sentence. I didn't ruin anything, Ryan. I just introduced myself. Go to hell. Then I blocked him. I blocked him on social media. I blocked him on Venmo. I severed the last thread. People ask me sometimes if I regret it. They ask if I should have screamed or fought for him or tried counseling. They ask if it was cold to stay for 7 months while planning my exit. I didn't cheat. I didn't steal. I didn't scream. I just stayed quiet. I protected myself, and I left on my own terms. I walked away with my dignity, my savings, and my sanity intact. I refused to be a victim in his story. Was I wrong for handling it this way? Maybe. Maybe some people think it was cruel. But looking at my peaceful apartment and my healthy bank account and the lack of drama in my life, I know the answer. I wasn't wrong. I was smart, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat.